So I was just pondering over, some of the latest topics around the world of cricket and sport, and I found that, one major heartburn nowadays with some of our sports fans is retirement of, two stalwarts, right? Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. And, the dynamics and the changes in the Indian one-day format. Now, you all know that they've retired from Test cricket and T20 cricket, and the only format that they play anymore is the ODI format. And there was a change from the selectors' end, and the change was that Rohit Sharma was not assigned a captaincy anymore, and a new captain was chosen. That created a lot of heartburn with a lot of these fans, and they were trying to discuss as to whether there's an agenda with the selector, and now people like us who work in the field of sports management, who work with cricket, we don't feel this. And I thought, why so? And it's because we realize that each of these protagonists involved, that is the cricket manager, that is the cricket selector, cricket captain, they all have a perspective. And I thought if we tell you their individual perspectives, then you'll understand why certain decisions are taken. So let's see what happened here. A lot of people blamed Ajit Agarkar, the chief selector, as to whether he had an agenda in basically not sacking in the sense of, passing over the baton of the captaincy from Sharma to Gill. And why he did that was because, from his perspective, he has to plan for the 2027 World Cup. Now, when he does that, he has to see whether Rohit Sharma, who's on the last legs of his illustrious career, whether he's still going to, be able to perform till 2027. And that's the big question, because they need to plan for those many years. So he cannot think from Sharma's perspective. He has to think from, the perspective of the team. And that's the reason that he had to groom a captain, and that's the reason why they gave it to Gill. On the other hand, as far as the retirement is concerned of both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, it is their individual perspective. It is not about the team. Nobody can tell a player to retire. But what usually happens is, you have to understand from a player's perspective. This is their profession. This is the only thing that they've done all their life. So for them to take an objective decision on their retirement is very difficult. It has happened across the world, across sporting disciplines. Even in India, Kapil Dev took a lot of time before he retired. Even Sachin Tendulkar had to be nudged out by then Chief Selector Sandeep Patil. He had to go and talk to him as to whether he had plans for his retirement. The only person who retired on time was Sunil Gavaskar, and that's when the question arose that why and not why not, right? And most of the time with players, what happens is, they don't understand it, and it's their right. It's their right to play as long as possible. But what happens is, retirement is something that they can call for themselves. Now, I've worked, I had the fortune of working with selectors, with some chief selectors earlier, and I've tried to understand this perspective. And what happens is, usually, when you think about retirement of Kohli and Rohit Sharma, it is their perspective. But their positions, their selection into the team, that is solely the, prerogative of the chief selector. And, try and put yourself in the selector's shoe. What he has to see is whether they are the best fit for the team at the moment. So when Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are still playing in the team, imagine the players who are being left out, who don't get an opportunity. When you read of names like, say, Tilak Verma, when you read of names like Yashasvi Jaiswal, you realize that it is not as easy a decision as we think it is. Therefore, when you understand it from a player's perspective, so what should Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma do if they don't find, the selectors don't find merit in them playing in the playing 11? So what should they do? Should they go back to domestic cricket, perform, and then come back into the side? Well, that's a very difficult choice, because what happens with players of this stature is, once they've played at the international level, very difficult for them to motivate themselves, go through the domestic grind and come back into the national team. Therefore, the selector needs to have a communication with them and tell them that, they are not part of his plans anymore. And, the number of players that are being blocked because of their presence in the team. And when that happens, when that communication happens, that is when the right decision is arrived at. So, this has happened over and again. It will keep happening in the future too. So we have to basically, if you put all these things into perspective, you'll realize that nobody has got a personal agenda here. Everybody has a job to do. It overlaps sometimes. And therefore, I wish Kohli and Sharma all the best. There's no way they can go back to domestic cricket and come back. So, this is their last hurrah. And they continue as long as they can. As they did in Australia, they merit themselves to be selected, for the near future in the bilaterals. But whether they'll be able to continue till 27 is a big question that only time will answer.